Hello everyone, welcome to another TBC Power Hour. It's February, it's unusually warm here in Westminster, Colorado in the United States. Today I've got Adam Hussein, and because it's so warm, he's actually wearing shorts during this presentation, so it gives you kind of testament to the kind of lifestyle we're living here at Trimble.
Thanks for calling me out.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
But welcome everybody to another month on the TBC Power Hour. Myself, Riley Smith, and Adam Hussein will be presenting to you today on customized reporting, specifically data traceability using customized reporting. So a little bit of background about the two of us. So myself, Riley Smith, I'm a product management intern here at the Trimble office with the Trimble Business Center team. My email information is there for any of you who wish to contact me after this Power Hour and ask any questions or get some more feedback from you as end users. As well, I've been at Trimble for about 9 months now. I have about 4 or 5 years of experience surveying in Western Canada. Maybe Adam, you can give a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Adam Hussein, as you can see on the PowerPoint slide. I work as a quality assurance engineer for the Trimble Business Center development team. I work as a lead, so I manage the other QA testers that test Trimble Business Center. So it's my job to make sure the software is good to go, everyone's load is even, and we're ready to release once the software is at its top quality. I've been with I've been with the company Trimble for 4 years. Started out doing the grad rotation program where I've done technical support, product management, technical sales, and testing with different groups within Trimble. And I've been working with Trimble Business Center for 3 years actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to be an intern for Trimble Business Center as well. And now working as the quality assurance lead for the team. I'm excited to show off the custom reporting that we've currently implemented into the Trimble Business Center.
I like to mock Adam because he's like one of those faces that you see on all the Trimble marketing materials. I think on the install of TBC you see a picture of Adam holding an R10 out in the field, so he may be familiar to you already. I wanted to say a little special thanks, a shout out to Jared Black. Jared was able to present with us, Adam and I, this morning on the morning session of the Power Hour on this customized reporting, and he kind of gave a demo of his workflow and how it's helped him working at Rochester and Associates. And Jared Black has been really helpful for the Trimble Business Center team working on our beta group and giving us feedback on all of the enhancements and features we've been putting into TBC in the past few years. And I want to say thanks to him for presenting with us this morning. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to present with us today. He's a busy man and he's got a life outside of doing testing on the side for TBC, but just want to say thanks, and we will be showing kind of some of his example data sets. He was very helpful in providing those, so we can give you kind of an end user experience of the data sets and custom reports that Jared has created. Mm-hmm. So agenda today, I'm gonna kind of start it off with a little background, as we always do, on customized reporting, what it is, where the customer need came from, and the solution that we implemented in TBC for customized reporting, kind of a generic workflow, and then Adam is going to dive into the demonstration, really go into the meat and bones, meat and potatoes of the whole workflow and how you can use that as a TBC user. And then we'll sum it up at the end with a QA period as well as some reference material. And feel free, as we're going through the presentation, if you do have any questions, to put them in the chat window, and Adam and I will answer them as we go through the presentation. As well, if you do have any issues, technical issues such as the audio cutting out or video cutting out, also put that in the chat so we can fix that immediately. So diving right into it, custom reporting. I threw this image up here of that old style of surveying and manually creating plans and maps, and kind of showing that, yeah, the technology has changed throughout time, and how we document data and things like that is differently, but we're still taking that data from the field, documenting it some way, in some fashion, whether it's a report or some other way, and giving that to, as a surveyor, to a finished, or as a finished product to a client. So to me, custom reporting, I have a definition here, is documenting data in a meaningful format your way. So it's unique to you as a professional or to your organization, or both for that matter. And benefits of having this ability to create a really unique deliverable is, first of all, interchanging data, being able to take any type of data, GNSS data, total station data, all of that different type of raw as well as field or office-entered data, and combine it into one document or one deliverable. And then moving on to the second point of standardization, being able to create a workflow within your organization that is similar throughout that organization, and as well providing some automation options to make it a more streamlined workflow. Ease of use is up there because I think this is important in any software, regardless of the industry. I think everyone is looking for ease of use at the end of the day. We're all a little bit lazy in some ways, and I don't think we should feel bad about that at all. And then flexibility, being able to format, being able to add and remove and create a report that is very unique to how myself or my client would like a report. So in saying that, what was the challenge? What did we get from customers? Customers coming to us, whether they were TBC customers, old Trimble Geomatics office customers, whoever it may have been, coming to us saying, hey, we want a reporting feature that allows us to do what I've got here in this point here: automation, flexibility, and ease of use. So we have in TBC already quite a large library of reports, and you can see a few of those on the right-hand side there, such as a network adjustment report or site calibration, earthworks reports, quite a large library. But we didn't have that flexibility, that ease of use factor where I could customize and create my own unique reports. So user requests coming as, hey, I want to report on multiple data types in the same report and combine them, as well as creating my own templates, not just using what the TBC software provides me, and picking and choosing that data. So taking those requests, what we came up with was what we call TBC's customized reporting feature. And so how this works is we've implemented a Microsoft Word add-in that's installed with Trimble Business Center version 3.80 or newer. So any Microsoft Word application prior to 2010 will not work with this add-in, so it will not be installed. So when you install TBC, the newer versions of TBC, you'll get this add-in, and what it does is it links the database from TBC to a Microsoft Word document template. So I'm able to map data into that template and create my own unique Microsoft Word format, or template, I should say. And this is really unique in the fact that I can create a report in Microsoft Word environment, which is, I think, familiar to, probably the majority of the audience out there. It's very few and far between where I can go to someone and ask them if and find that they've never used MS Word. I mean, most schools, elementary and junior high, they're learning how to use these programs at a young age. So I think it's very important that we are able to do this feature within a very familiar environment to make it, bring it that ease of use point. So the workflow, I've got an image here and I screwed up the animation, unfortunately. But what it's meant to say is you start the workflow. So field workflow, you go out, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're measuring a stockpile, you're collecting some total station data, whatever it may be, you do that as you normally would. You bring it into TBC as you normally would and perform that processing and QA workflow where you're maybe processing baselines, maybe doing a network adjustment, things like that. And then from there, you use the Microsoft Word add-in to link the data in TBC to a Microsoft Word template document and then generate your report. Pretty straightforward workflow, and Adam's going to demonstrate that soon here. Some of the big benefits, though, I don't want to talk about this too much because I know the real important part of this is the demonstration, but really, to me, it comes down to the ability to document this data in your own unique way, as well as to what your client requirements are. As survey professionals, we're always under what our client requires, and a lot of the time clients may want a report of whatever it may be, whatever survey data, in a specific format. With the customized reporting, you're able to create that format and automate the data from TBC into a template. And this also helps with that standardization point of being able to streamline the workflow and not have to go back to that old way of copying and pasting data from TBC into a Word document just to get a report out. We want to get rid of that tedious process and make it more streamlined. So in saying that, talked long enough here. I want to relax. I should have brought shorts like Adam so I could hang out here, but I didn't. So Adam, he's going to take over the demonstration here and really dive into it.
All right, thanks a lot, Riley, and thanks again for calling me out again. Really appreciate that. Okay, all right. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So I have here a couple TBC projects. We're going to go ahead and, yes, I am sharing my screen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started by looking at a static baseline GNSS project. If you recognize the project, it is the same one that we use in our tutorials for processing baselines. And here I'm just going to show where the custom report function is. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at our built-in custom templates that we have for our users. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to go to the Home ribbon. Then from the Home ribbon, I'm going to go to Reports. And then from Reports, I'm going to go down to Create Custom Report.
So that's new, right? That button there.
That button is new. Yes, yes. For report name, here's where you get a chance to name your report. So I'm going to call this Adam's Static Baseline Report. And then here's where you can add a description, which you can see under report options in case you're curious what this report is. So I'll just say custom report for baselines. And then here's where here's the interesting part of this feature. So for report source data, we have the baseline processing data, network adjustment data, point list data, as stake data, and alignment data. Alignment geometry data. So what this basically is for our report, we want to be able to access certain types of data. So for instance, with the baseline processing report source data, we have access to vector information, RMS, whether a vector is fixed or float. In a network adjustment report source data, we have access to error ellipses, standard deviations, and say like covariances and such like that.
So like I guess the way that I would look at it is for example, the baseline processing report source data, any data that I see in the baseline processing report right now, I have access to. And there's a few things that aren't included in the report, but anything, essentially think of it as like a database for baseline processing. So Adam is linking to baseline processing or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point to make it. In a simple way, think of it as if there's data that you want to access in our current baseline processing report, you have access right here in the report data source, and you'll also have access to certain things here and there that are related to baseline processing, but you probably won't see in the baseline processing report.
Gotcha.
So we'll get into that. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the baseline processing report because I want to have access to vector information, GNSS information. And then here, my report layout file. So this is where we get into the world of Microsoft. This is where we take advantage of a Word document. So here we have built-in report layouts that come with TBC when you install it. And then each of these reports are the exact same reports that you currently see in TBC. But now that we have the custom reporting function, you have the power to grab one of these original templates and customize it to your liking and add things, remove things, and such like that. Something to note is once you take one of these built-in report layouts and you customize it, you're going to have to save it in a different location, or you're going to have to give it a different name, because we wouldn't want the end users to tamper with the built-in templates that are here. It was a note that was given by us by Jared Black. I think it's really handy. So if you are going to use these templates, I would suggest you save it as a different file name, put it in a different location so that you can always revert back to these templates if you want to keep editing our current reports. So
like if I'm starting out using this command, probably like the best thing to do is use one of these reports right off the bat, use one of these custom ones that we provide, and then kind of learn how it looks or whatever. Yeah, I'm interrupting you. You're getting.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I agree. I think if you're gonna start to get your feet wet with this function, I think this is the best place to start. Use the built-in custom reports that we already have, and then just go ahead and edit it from there. So now I'm just gonna go ahead. What we're gonna do here is we're just gonna briefly show how the report looks like. We're not really gonna get into customization now. We will really soon here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit open, and now I have access to that layout. And if I go here to edit layout, and then this is just going to give you a sneak preview of the report. So again, here is our built-in report that we already have, and then on the right you can see we have report source and we have layout control, and we'll get into more detail on that really soon here. So yeah. This is just like the exact same baseline report that you currently have in Trimble Business Center. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and hit save. And then automatically it's telling me to save as, since it is a built-in report for TBC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it under Documents and under Power Hour folder and call it Adam's Baseline Report. And then go ahead and hit save. And then your document will be upgraded to the newest file format. That is fine. I'll hit OK. And then there we go. It is a done deal. So I can go ahead and close it or hit OK. And then now I am finished. So once I hit OK, my report is now going to be saved into Trimble Business Center. And it'll be saved into Trimble Business Center indefinitely. So for instance, if I open a new TBC project, Adam's static baseline report is going to be available for me to use.
Yeah, yeah. I guess the only one caveat to that for people to know, it's very important. So as Adam said, if you open up TBC in the future, you're still going to have Adam's static baseline report. But if you want to get that, if you want to give that to another user, you need to provide that user with a VCT or what we call a project template in TBC, and Adam can show you where you can save that as well.
Exactly. All right, so I'll go ahead and hit OK. All right, cool. And now I'm just going to go ahead and try to access my report. So what I'll do is go back to the Home ribbon, Reports, and then I'm going to go to More Reports. And then if you look down the list, you'll see Adam's Static Baseline Report. So I'll go ahead and hit OK.
And so now it's actually creating a report, right?
Yep, it's creating the report.
Generating it, I should say.
Yeah, grabbing the vectors.
So right now you don't have any data selected, right? In your project?
Yes, yes, I do not have
So if I wanted to only give a report for, let's say, 2 of those baselines, I would have to select the 2 baselines and then hit create that report again, and it would just show those 2 baselines?
Yep, that is very true. So, and it is the same behavior that you have with our current reports that we have in TBC. So when you select certain data, it's only going to show a report for that data. If nothing is selected, we're going to create a report for all the data that's in your project.
Nice. Cool.
All right, cool. And then now we got Microsoft Word opening. And then here we go. And then I thought this was pretty cool. It shows the report name that I gave it, Adam Static Baseline Report. And then, this is just like our regular baseline report that we currently have in TBC. But now it's in Microsoft Word. Yeah. And then here's where you have the power to save it as a PDF or, save it as a Word document, send that to somebody and such like that. At this point, you're in the Microsoft world. So take advantage of the tools that are here, do what you can, and there's a very simple way of creating a report. So notice here I didn't really get into any sort of customization, so let's get into that now. And what I want to do is I want to create a report layout from scratch. So for instance, I'm going to create a new Word document, create a report layout from scratch, and then go ahead and set it up so I can have my own custom report. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and then I'm going to go and open another TBC project that I have here. And this project is a stakeout of a corridor. And so it has stakeout points for building paths, it's got stakeouts for a road, it's got stakeouts for an alignment. And if you recognize this, it is also the same tutorial data set that we have in TBC regarding stakeout data. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get started by creating my own custom layout via Microsoft Word. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and open Windows Explorer, go to the location of where I want to save my custom report layout, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit New, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit a new Word document, and I'm going to call it Adams Stakeout Report. All right, and then it's done. So now I have a blank Microsoft Word, so I'm in the world of Microsoft at this point, and I just want to create a layout for my report. So I want to call this one, I'll give it a title, and I'm going to call it Adams Stakeout Report. And then I'm going to build this report based on, you know, my client's needs, what I usually provide for my clients. So for me, I care about the office user who was using this project in the office, or who was messing around with the data in the office. I'll enter in the field user who is responsible for collecting the data. And then when you're creating your layout, you should think about information that you know is in TBC that you want to show in this layout. And then now what I'm going to do is go ahead and insert a table. And I want to be able to see my stakeout points. And what I'm interested in is the design name of my stakeout point, the name of my stakeout point, the delta northing, delta easting, and delta elevation. So then I'll go ahead and enter a table right here, and then I'll go ahead and just set it up myself. So say a design name, stakeout name, and then the delta northing and easting. And what's interesting, or not interesting, but what I think is really cool is say you currently have a template in Microsoft Word, like say it's something that you've used in the past, say it's something that one of your customers or one of your clients wants you to use, and they have a Word document. You can right away grab that Word document and connect it to TBC, so you can grab data from TBC and throw it into that template. So you don't have to make a template from scratch, or you don't have to use our built-in templates. If there's a template that somebody currently has, and it's in Microsoft Word, you can totally take advantage of it and try to get data from TBC into that report, into that template. So I'll go ahead, and there we go. My template is done. This is going to be my report. So I'll go ahead and hit Save and Close. Okay. So now we're going to do the exact same thing we did before to access custom reports. I'm going to go to Reports. Then I'm going to go to Create Custom Report. And then now I'm going to call it Adams Stakeout Report. And then give it a quick description, Custom Stakeout Report Info. And the data that I want to access is delta northings, delta eastings, the design names, stakeout names. So I wanted to go ahead and go into the Add Stake report.
Hey, Adam, I have one question for you. You may have answered this earlier, but if you hit the Report Source Data tab again, there's 5 items there. Is there a reason there's only 5?
Yes, so we have 5 because when initially creating this feature, we wanted to select the 5 that are most popular. These are the reports that are mostly used, so we wanted to make sure that the end users had access to these type of data sources when creating their reports. From what I understand, there are plans to add more data sources in the future, and that's really is something that you would want to keep an eye out for, and just to see if there's something else added.
Based on like user requirement kind of thing. So a bunch of users want, let's say, I don't know, a point derivation report there. Then as a TBC team, we might work on implementing that as well.
Right.
Kind of thing?
Right. Exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah. So go ahead and select Add Stake Report, and then from my report layout file, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the layout that I just created. Under, here we are, Adam Stakeout Report, hit open, okay, and now I'm ready to edit my layout and get it set up to create my own custom report. And then here it's saying this document does not have field mapping data. Press OK to insert field mapping data in this document. So that basically means there is no data connected to this report. Do you want to do it? I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And here we are. Okay, awesome. So here is the layout that I just created. And then if you look to the right, we have the data fields. And this is where we access all of the data that we want to put into our report. And on the bottom, we have layout control. And here is where it gives us the power to really like customize our report and customize it in a way to our own liking. So for office user and field users, so remember when I said that you have to think about things that are already in Trimble Business Center that you have access to that you can put on your report. So for office user and field user, that information is available in the project settings of your project. It shows, the user information, it shows the field operator, and that's something you can set up in Trimble Business Center. And here in the reports, in the report layout data fields, I have access to that here under standard header info, and then here in user information. And then here, right away, I see field operator and computer operator. And what you can do to show that off in your, to put that in your report is you would select the data that you want on your report, you would drag it, and then go ahead and release, and then it'll be set up right there. And now you have access to, and then here it shows that you'll now have access to the office user information from the project settings in your Trimble Business Center project. And then you could do the same thing with field operator and place that under field user.
Is there a reason why it shows field operator and office user there for the data field?
So this gives you a preview of what you expect to see in your report when you grab a data source and you try to put it into your report.
But it's not actual from the data in my current TBC project.
It is not from the actual data.
Okay, just a rough example, kind of an idea.
Yeah, exactly. So then it gives you an idea that you're putting in the right information into your report.
Cool.
And then everything's looking good. All right, so now for stakeout, so now for my table, I could do the exact same thing. What I'll do is, if you're not a fan of dragging and dropping, we do have an insert button on the bottom here. So I'll go to the stakeout report data and then expand this out and then go to stakeout points and then expand that again and then make sure my cursor is set up right there. It's going to be wherever I place my cursor. Make sure I click design name and go ahead and hit insert. And it'll do the exact same thing as if I dragged and dropped. And then you can go ahead and keep doing that. So, and there's definitely a lot of information in this tree. I would suggest when you're making a custom report, go in here, explore what's here, see what you have access to, and that'll just give you an idea when you make your custom report, what can you throw on there and what can you work with. And then put in delta northing, delta easting, and delta elevation. All right. And then one more thing to note is you see here, if you go back to data fields, right next to design point name, there's the number 1 there. So that shows that I already have the design point name set up once in my report. And it increments every time I put it into my report. So it gives you an idea how many times you have a data source in your report so that you're not repeating yourself, or if you intend to do that, then you'll know. Okay, cool. So now I'm done with the data portion. I have all the data that I need. Now gets to the part where I get to play around with the layouts and try to set that up. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a quick presentation that I have to explain how it works. So actually, before I do that, let's actually go to where you really do have control over the layout. So under layout control, if you go to the bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and hit property. And then here is where you have a lot of power to set up the layout of your report. If you go back to the slide, here we'll explain what that property function does. So there are three sections to this. You have repeated options, table options, and image options. With repeated options, we talked where you have control over how you want to replicate your data in your report. Table options gives you control on how you set up your tables. Image options gives you control on how you set up media images that are attached to like observations, for instance. So repeated options, you can increase rows for every new record, and currently our TBC reports already do that. Like it will give you a new point. Oh, sorry, not a new point. It'll give you a new row for every new point that's in your project. And then here we have to manually enable that so that we can see that in our own custom report. So, and this is where like the automation of your report kicks in, because you're able to see, like say if you have 5 stakeout points versus 50 stakeout points. If you set it up to increase rows for new record, it'll give you 50 stakeout points in your report. And then we have inserting new tables for every new record. So say for instance, you want to be able to lay out your data, but you can't really do it row by row. You want to add more information to it. So inserting a table for every new record will give you more information. Well, not more information, but it'll give you the power to separate your observations via tables. I definitely find this very useful for control points, for instance. So like if you want to know the scale factors or the coordinate system that control points in, separating your data via tables is a good way to go. And then here we have the power, here we have our repeated order number. So say for instance, you want to show multiple data sets in a single row. So like for example, if you look at this chart on the right, you have point ID and feature code, but you have those two columns showing 3 times. So with the repeated order number, you can set it up so that you can have point ID and feature code for 3 points, but it's all along one row. And then we have it set up that way so you can go ahead and edit your layouts there. Cool. And then that's the repeated options. For the table options, a simple way to explain it is, say you create a report and you want to look at float vectors in your data set. And you have a TBC project where there are no float vectors in your data set. If you enable remove the row when outputted data does not exist, or if you enable remove the table when outputted data does not exist, then you will not see your table if there are no float vectors in your TBC project. And then for image options, this is going to affect your media files or your media images that are tied to your points. So say if you want to fit your media images to the size of a table, if you want, or you don't want it to fit and you want it to stay the same size, this is the function that you'd want to mess around with so that you could set up your media images in your report to your liking. All right, cool. So that's a really quick summary of how the property functions work. I highly recommend checking out the help or the TBC tutorials on the custom reporting, because they explain all of that in much more detail, and then it'll help you out when you create your own custom report. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to step out of here real quick. What I want to do for my layout control, I want to have repeated rows. So I want to have a new row increment for every stakeout point that I see. So I'm going to go ahead and select the very first column here, and then I'm going to go to property, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to increase rows for new records, and then that's all I'm going to have, and that's all I have to do. And then I'll hit OK. And then for the other columns, you don't have to set up a layout control because the data in this row is tied to the design name that you have right here. So you're set up, you're good to go, and you'll also encounter errors if you try to set up a different type of layout style that's not consistent with the layout style that you have under the design name. Under this first column. All right, cool. And that's it. I'm done creating my own custom report. So I'll go ahead and so last time I hit save, this time I'll hit OK. All right, and now it's finished.
When you hit OK, it automatically saves it?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
Hitting OK also saves it as well. All right, and now it's done. I'll go ahead and hit OK, and now I have Adam's Stakeout Report built into Trimble Business Center that I can use repeatedly. And if I create a template, I can share it with other people. All right, so now I'm just going to go ahead and go and create my report. So I'll go to Home, Reports, and then under More Reports, I'll go down, and then I'll have access to Adam's Stakeout Report. Go ahead and hit OK. All right, and then there it is. There's the report I just made, and looks like it created my Stakeout Report really nicely. I can see the office user, which is set up in my project setting, field user, and then all my stakeout points that I have here. And just like the original stakeout report that we have at Trimble Business Center, if a stakeout point is flagged, it'll show it in red in the original report. It also shows that here too in our custom reports as well. And
so that's like if the project settings said, the tolerance, you set the tolerance for the stakeout points, and it would flag it in the project. That also flags it here as well?
Yes, exactly. It does that in our built-in reports as well. So we're keeping that capability in the custom reports as well.
I see.
Yeah. Cool. So, yeah. And, at this point, you're in Microsoft world, so I would recommend saving it. And then you could always save it as a PDF as well, or any other file format.
So there was a good couple, before we move on, there was some good questions that have been asked so far I'd like to address. So Holly asked, is there no way to share customer reports with someone who already has a company standard VCE? For those of you who don't know, VCE is the TBC project file format. So whenever you save a TBC project, it saves a .vce file. So in answer to your question, Holly, there is a way. So essentially what you have to do is take if you've created a document like Adam has here, his Adam Stakeout Report, with that field mapping data already, what the user who already has a company standard VCT from Holly. So yeah, if they have a template already, what they can do is bring the template into TBC and create their report as Adam has done here, where it adds it into the more report options. And then just save that again as a VCT. Maybe Adam, you can show how a user would save a VCT.
Right. So then, say for instance, like this is going to be a corridor that our users are going to constantly be working on. There's going to be work on here. So we want to save this as a template. You would just go to File, and then you would go to Save Project as a template. And then here is where you would set up your VCT. So I'll call it Corridor Job. And then go ahead and hit save. All right, so now I have a VCT set up. So anytime I create, so like say for instance, if I want to create a new project, we have our built-in templates, which is metric, US survey foot, and now we have corridor job. All right, so then when I use that and create a new project with corridor job, that corridor is always going to be there where we can add in work and take away work and such like that.
And that's very useful, like if you have other things you want to set up in your project as well, not just reports, but like let's say things like your project settings or your certain tolerances for computations and things like that. So the custom reporting does apply to this VCT as well. So another question, well first Holly, let me know if that answered or didn't answer your question. Moving on to another one. Grant asked, what version of TBC does the create custom report, or what version of TBC has the create custom reports included? So it was introduced in TBC version 3.80. So any from that version going up, we're currently on version 3.81. so it will be included in that version as well. As well, that brings up another point. This feature is licensed to TBC Advanced, so if you are looking at using the customized reporting, you can access that through the TBC Advanced edition. If you aren't aware of the TBC editions and modules, I suggest that you reach out to your local Trimble distribution partner, and they can definitely help you out and get you into a specific edition or modules that would be suited to your types of workflows. I'll take another question or two here before we move on. Alex asked, can the user insert logos in the template? That's a big yes, Alex. So the template is a Microsoft Word document. So anything you can do in a Microsoft Word document applies to this customized reporting. So I can insert a logo, which we'll show here in the next example from Jared Black. It's kind of a typical actual customer example of a customized report that he created, and it's got some company logos attached to it. Another question asked from Alex was, if the user edits the field in the Word report, does it become red or has a warning comment? It does not. So you can add comments within Microsoft Word using the existing Word functionality, but we do not provide additional functionality inside of Microsoft Word that isn't there already. So any data, so if I create, as Adam has done here, generated a report from data in my project, I can edit that as it would be any other Microsoft Word document, or save it as a PDF or anything like that. We do not provide any warnings inside of Microsoft Word because it's not a native environment to Trimble. Looks like I covered most of the questions here, so we'll keep moving on with the examples here. Feel free, though, to keep asking questions. I do appreciate them, and it's good feedback for not only Adam and I, but everybody else in the audience. So
yeah,
I'll
awesome.
kick it back to you, Adam.
Yeah, no problemo. Okay, all right, awesome. So now we just talked about the basics. We talked about the basics of creating a custom report. We talked about creating your own report from scratch, talking to more about it in detail. So now what we'll do is we'll switch over to an end user case where they have used the custom report, and then we'll glance at how they've used it and how they've taken advantage and how it has helped them. So this, like Riley said, this data set is from Jared Black, and he was able to create his own built-in custom reports. So Jared Black, if you're listening, thanks again for helping us out. And here he's got a project where he's got a lot of points measured, feature codes, attributes, media files, media images. He measured some control points. So it's definitely a pretty big job. There's a lot going on here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go to the View tab, go to Points, and then go to Feature. And then this function is, I think it's a pretty handy function. It helps us separate all of our data based off of the feature that's provided for each observation.
Yeah. I think a little more background on this. Sorry to interrupt you, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
I think, so Jared, he presented this morning on this, and it was, I think, a university site that they surveyed, and they do a lot of asset management. So there's a lot of utilities, a lot of infrastructure data measured here. It's like Adam's showing you with the feature spreadsheet, things like that. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no problem. So let's go ahead and get more specific and try to tackle something that he has here. Like, say, for instance, I'm interested in power meters, right? All right, so then here is all of the info. Here's all of our data for power meters, point IDs, nothing in these things. And like we explained before, based on the data that you select, you'll be able to create reports from that. So now I'm going to go ahead and access one of Jared's custom templates that he created himself. So I'm just going to go to the Home tab, go to Reports, and then go to More Reports. And then I'm going to go to the RAI Pointless Photo Report. And this report is just a simple pointless report. And he customized it himself to set it to his own liking. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. And then again, Microsoft Word opens, and then here is the report. So
so there's the logo in the top right here. You can see
exactly. Yeah. And then here, I mean, it's a pointless report where you have your ID, northern, eastern elevation, feature code. What's really handy here, which I think really resonates to our end users, is the media images. So in this image was taken with a TSC3 or Yuma, where you can go ahead and take a photo and attach it to your observation. And then we're able to see that media information in TBC. And we have access to the media data in the custom reports. And I think this is really handy because, everyone loves photos. No one likes to look at numbers all day.
Especially for asset management, like if you're cataloging things like power meters, fire hydrants, utilities, things like that. A lot of the time, the user or the client is looking for things like images of that power meter as well as the coordinates. So I think this type of report, it seems simplistic, but it actually has a lot of weight in the survey industry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm good.
Yeah, no problem. And then and again, like at this point, you're in the world of Microsoft, so this is where you take advantage of Microsoft tools. Like say, for instance, I'm not a fan of landscape, so I want to use portrait instead. So I'll go ahead and use portrait. Say if there's an image that you want to resize, you can go ahead and resize it right here on the fly, and then go ahead and edit things to your liking. And it sets things up. Like say, for instance, I want to edit the footer to add page names, page numbers.
Page number to the left.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. Most people know how to use it.
Most people do. All right, cool. And then go ahead, and then there we go. Close header and footer, and there we are. I got my own page numbers set up. And then, yeah, at this point, you're in the world of Microsoft, so you can really edit it to your own liking. Save it as a PDF, save it as a Word document, and then go ahead and send that to your client.
So a question that got asked from Alex was, can you repeat header? I'm not sure exactly I follow with the question there, Alex. If you're just looking for us to show how we did that, or if you're asking, can we repeat the header within Microsoft Word? In both cases, just like Adam showed, it's exactly like you would inside of a Microsoft Word. So you would access the design, the layout, and create a header, and then just drag and drop your logo inside that header, and you can choose whether you have that only on one page or multiple pages within the report. So the same formatting that you have in Microsoft Word. So if you're not new to Microsoft Word, you can always go online. There's a lot of, more than enough YouTube videos, as well as a lot of good forums that Microsoft has for learning the different formatting and layout options within Word. Another question that Alex asked was, what version of Microsoft Word do I need to use this? So to use the Microsoft Word add-in feature that we install with TBC, you need Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word 2010 or newer. So anything prior to 2010 will not or is not compatible with that Microsoft Word add-in. All right.
Yeah, good
go ahead,
stuff.
Adam. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, no problem. And then we'll just go ahead and show off one more example. I'm just going to go ahead and close this, but I won't save it. And one more thing I wanted to show off is being able to use the insert a row for each new table. And Jared has a report layout where it's set up that way. But say, for instance, if I want to fix something or there's something I want to edit in that report, what I can do is go to the Home tab, go to Reports, and then right under the Create Custom Report is Edit Custom Reports. So I'll go here, and then if I hit the drop-down menu, here I have all of the reports that are that I've created that are custom and that are saved into Trimble Business Center. So I'll go ahead and select the RAI point card report, and then go ahead and hit Edit Layout.
So this is just editing an existing
custom report. Exactly. You can go in here and edit the existing custom report. So here you can see it's already been set up with data sources, and everything's already set up right here. But like if you want to, for example, say you want to resize the media file, or if you want to add a new row, or if you want to add a new column, you can go in there and edit the custom reports that are already there.
This actually looks like a cool report. Maybe you can generate it and show.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Jared, from what I remember this morning, Jared was talking about that he uses these point card reports a lot of the time when he's doing both monuments or survey control reports of some kind, because then it can put a essentially create a table or a page for each control point. So it'll have media files and all the coordinate geodetic information associated with it.
Yeah, exactly. So then let's go back into the feature spreadsheet, and then let's look at it via
I think it was monuments he used.
Monuments.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we are. All right, and then we have our photos right here.
Yeah.
So then what we'll do is we'll select that data, and then we'll go to reports, and then we will go to more reports, and then we'll do RAI point card report. Hit OK. Microsoft Word opens again, and then here we are. So here you have information on each monument that he measured, and then he has a photo for each monument that he measured as well.
Yeah, cool.
So and then here is a great example of how you can separate your data per table versus per row.
Yeah, cool.
And shows a lot of information here.
Nice.
Cool.
Right on.
Yeah, no, it's pretty handy. Some small things to go over. We did add some small functions here and there. So say if we go to report options, and then here we also have the list of all of our custom reports that we created. So for the RAI point list, here you have the option to create custom report on the fly here, modify the selected report, edit the custom report, and all those options. So
I noticed too that like the settings are grayed out there.
The settings are grayed out because the settings were built for the built-in functions that we have.
Yeah.
So I go ahead and select point list. You can see I have all of these built-in things that we have for our pointless report. For the custom report, there's no need for these settings because you can go in there and really edit it yourself. Right?
Exactly.
So it's set up right there. And that's pretty much it, everyone. So that is custom reporting in a nutshell. I guess we can go over some more questions and see what else we have. Or
yeah, sure. So let's maybe we'll answer a couple questions before we sum it up. Let's see, Adam, you see any good ones there?
Are customized level reports available?
Customized level reports.
So I know we got a custom importer for leveling data.
Yeah, there is no, Randy, you asked the question, there is no customized leveling report currently in TBC. As Adam showed earlier, we have currently 5 types of databases you can map from. That was the network adjustment, the baseline processing, point list, as stake report, and the alignment geometry. But if definitely if the leveling report is something that you're interested in being able to customize, please put your enthusiasm in the chat window there, and we'll definitely look into getting that implemented. That was kind of the whole idea behind only having a few reports at the start of this implementation, is we wanted to get out the most important reports to the majority of our users, and then as we get more feedback from end customers on what reports are important to them to customize, we can start adding more and more into the future TBC releases. So leveling can definitely be something that we add in the future. Another question that Holly asked, are the units in one of the reports that Jared was provided us from Rochester and Associates, the header just text, or did it come from the project settings? What was the header? I can't remember exactly. It depends. You can have it from the project settings if you wanted to, or if you wanted to add it manually into the template, you could do that as well. So you really have both the options there for that.
It looks like so yeah, Holly, it looks like it is a data source actually. Like it looks like we have access to units as well.
Yes, so we do. Yeah. Grant asked, I think, so the question I believe he asked was reporting using the inverse report in the customized reporting. Once again, this kind of comes back to Randy's question as well. We do not have the inverse report included with the customized reporting library yet, but that's definitely something we can also look into, and I appreciate your feedback on what you would like to include or not include. So please continue. We have a few more minutes left, so just cover a few more points. some additional information for you guys before we sum it up here at the end of the presentation. So in summary, there is a couple things I thought were necessary to note for users. We mentioned this a couple times, but I'm going to say it again. You do need MS Word 2010 or newer to use this Microsoft Word add-in with TBC. As well, not a full library of custom report templates. That comes back to the two questions just recently asked by Grant and Randy. We are working at including more and more reports as we continue on with TBC. As well as keep up to date on your updates, kind of a play, a play on words there. So why I say that is because it is Microsoft Word, so they are updating their software. They do provide new versions and things like that, and we do the same with TBC. So we want to maintain the consistency between the two softwares, so you can use TBC with Microsoft Word 2010, 13, or 16, or whatever it may be. So make sure to keep up to date on your TBC and MS Word updates. A little information. So next month's Power Hour, we've got it nailed down for March 29th, and we're going to do it on streamlining workflows using templates, styles, and libraries. I think it's going to be a fantastic webinar to really, especially for those of you who want to get really into standardizing your TBC workflows and creating more of a company-wide TBC workflow where it's really streamlined and efficient. So please join in that and bring your questions, bring your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you guys during that as well. A couple of resource links here. We have started a new TBC page on the Trimble community website, and you can go to this link here to find it. And what that is an open page to the general public where you can, on the image on the right there, you can see a picture of it. What it is just a general kind of information forum where you can go and ask questions to the TBC team. So there's a little box where you can type in something. So if you've been doing something within TBC and you've just been, banging your head against the wall because you can't figure out how do I do this or that, just throw in a quick question there. Myself and various other members of the TBC team look at this website during the week and try and answer your questions, as well as it's a forum. So we urge other users, if they have good experiences, to post them there and help out answer questions. There's a lot of other good information like blog posts, and I do a kind of a weekly TBC tip of the week, which I show something that you probably don't know about in TBC unless you're a power user. So a lot of good information there, as well as a wide library of YouTube videos on our TBC survey channel. I do recommend anybody who is interested in a certain feature within TBC and wants more information to go check out these videos, because that way you can replay it and follow along with the videos and really get a good idea of how that feature works. As well, I mean, we have this slide on every TBC Power Hour, but I still think it's important. If you are not an existing TBC user and you want to get into TBC, reach out to your local Trimble distribution partner, and they'll be more than happy to help you get a 30-day demo license of TBC, and you can go online and download TBC and, get a feel for what TBC can do for you, what are all the advantages of it, and what are all the different features as well. And there's also there's an existing tutorials catalog that Adam mentioned earlier. We do have a custom report tutorial that's has been implemented recently, so you can go and use that and really get some more detailed explanation of how to go through that.
Mm-hmm. Do we have a poll, Riley?
Yeah, we do have a poll. Thanks, Adam, for bringing that up. So we'll throw up a poll right now, and this is kind of, it ties into my last point there about if you are somebody out there and you want to be contacted by one of our distribution partners, please select yes on this poll here, and we'll get somebody to get in contact with you right away. So we'll leave this up for a few minutes, for maybe a minute here, and let everybody answer. And while you're doing that, maybe I'll get a few questions or answer a few questions here as well. So let's see if there's any. Alex asked, are the data and results in the customized reporting, do they have security against users changing in Word? So there's not specific security measures that have been implemented on our TBC side of things, because this is a Microsoft Word environment. We do not edit or change how Microsoft Word operates. So any changes you make in Microsoft Word are exactly like you expected them to be changed or expect that to work in a document. There's no specific saving. But as Adam said, those custom reports that we do supply with the install of TBC, those are all read-only files. So when you do try and edit those or create a new report from them, it does ask you to save them as a different document so you do not overwrite those existing reports. So Grant, you kind of made an enhancement suggestion here, a report for cadastral surveys in New Zealand, basing on from point to point, surveyed point to points based on ellipsoid distance and some other things. So maybe Grant, we can link up later after this webinar, and you give me some more information on what exactly you're looking for, and I'd love to be able to help you out on that field. Is there any other questions? We'll kind of reached the end of the webinar here. I'll wait to give another 30 seconds for anybody to enter into the chat here. I do want to say thanks to Adam for helping out today. Doing the webinars, did a great job demonstrating both this morning and the afternoon.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing me out. Yeah.
As well as, I know he's not here, but I want to say thanks again to Jared Black for doing the webinar with us this morning, as well as providing these kind of customer templates and really good examples of how this feature has been used already from a customer perspective. So that's great. It doesn't look like there's any more questions coming up here. So thanks everybody again for the good information. If you do have any questions, my contact info was at the start of this. Feel free to reach out to me. And thanks again, and I hope to see you guys at the next TBC Power Hour, March 29th. And until then, happy surveying, and we'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone.